Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
So we are in Srimad Bhagavatam 24, chapter 28 here. Chapter 28. Let's recite please. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudire Nashtaprayeshvaratreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nishviki Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurumyulatam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuktapadakamam Shri Guru Vaishnavasya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhaitam Savadhutam Varijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Anta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Vipasindhurevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Manishpadaya Krishna Savidu Bhavana Uttiya Shri Ramana Swami Sivatra Shastra Vikara Driva Sadi Shabri Ravarasana Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Savidu Shri Ramana Swami Kinani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharana Nirvishesha Shri Radhikacharya Shikana Mukham Karoti Vacharam Punjunayam Muktipatam Vande Shri Hare Krishna. So welcome back to our study of Puranjan from Signaman in the next slide, chapter 28. So this is our own story, actually, how the Jeev is entering this body. I hope it's making a difference in your perception. You know, when you see a dead body, now you know what's a dead body, right? It's nothing. It that's why we discard it. So it's only 5 elements. The G goes out, then it pulls, because the G is going, it pulls out the life air and the 5 senses and the sense organs. Everything is removed. So what's left is simply an empty house which crumbles, automatically crumbles. These 5 elements is what's left. That's why we throw it, because it starts to rot and stink. Okay? So now what's going to happen? Okay. Yeah, so we focus the super soul, right? This Puranjan. When he's been pulled out of the body, we forgot the super soul, his best friend. I mean, it's such a calamity, right? To forget Krishna at the time of death. To think that you're all alone, it's your own. You face the world, you face the future all by yourself. It's terrible. So we are in which depth? 26?
25.
25? Oh my God. Where are we on 25? Huh? Krishnamana prasarham yavanena valiyasa navindattamasadishta shakhayam shuritam pura.
When King Puranjana was being dragged with great force by the powerful Yavana out of his gross ignorance, he still could not remember his friend and well-wisher, the Super Soul. In Bhagavad Gita 5.29, Lord Krishna says, Bhokta Ram Yatna Tapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram Shubhradam Sarva Bhutanam Gyatva Mamsantim Vrachiti. A person can be in full Krishna consciousness and become happy and satisfied if he knows but 3 things, namely, that the Supreme Lord Krishna is the enjoyer of all benefits, that he is the proprietor of everything, and that he is the supreme friend of all living entities. If one does not know this and functions instead under the bodily conception, he is always harassed by the tribulations offered by material nature. In actuality, the Supreme Lord is sitting by the side of everyone. Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hriddeshi Arjuna Tishtati. Bhagavad Gita 18.61. The living entity and the super soul are sitting side by side in the same tree. But despite being harassed by the laws of material nature, the foolish living entity does not turn towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead for protection. However, he thinks that he is able to protect himself from the stringent laws of material nature. This, however, is not possible. The living entity must turn towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead and surrender unto him. Only then will he be saved from the onslaught of the powerful Yavana or Yamraj. The word Shakhayam, friend, is very significant in this verse because God is eternally present besides the living entity. The Supreme Lord is also described as Shurvata, ever well-wisher. The Supreme Lord is always a well-wisher, just like a father or mother. Despite all the offenses of a son, the father and mother are always the son's well-wisher. Similarly, despite all our offenses and defiances of the desire of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord will give us immediate relief from the hardships offered by material nature if we simply surrender unto Him. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. Unfortunately, due to our bad association and great attachment to sense gratification, we do not remember our best friend, the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So, what do you feel about this?
I feel that no matter what, we are not supposed to forget the super soul who is residing besides the soul, and he is our friend and well-wisher.
Yes. Huh? So, here, what's the problem with Puranjan?
He has forgotten the super soul.
And what is he thinking? You read it, no? What is he
Yeah.
thinking?
He's thinking
Yes.
because he's
No.
under the body.
He thinks he's able to protect himself from the stringent laws of material nature. That's why he makes so many plans, so many different ways. And Prabhupada is saying, no, we must surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Only then will he be saved from the onslaught of the powerful Yavan. What was that Yavan?
Yavraj.
Yamraj. So this Paramatma, who is Sakhayam, the friend, who's always with us. Now we know, especially these days, you see how without caring we are just doing so many bad things, right? And the Supreme Lord, even though we may reject, the Supreme Lord doesn't reject. Like Prabhupada. Prabhupada didn't reject anybody. The way, I keep on saying you should read this Prabhupada Lilamrita. You'll cry, you actually cry when you see what Prabhupada did when he went to the West. Indeed, Sakha, friend of everyone. Suridam, I mean, we just studied that now. We did this Bhakti Sadashar course, so we have to study that Prabhupada Lilamrita. It's so moving. I kept thinking, Prabhupada, what are you doing? How could you do this? How could you come out and be in such situation? I mean, describing all those hippies. I mean, what they were going through, that horror, it's really horrific. And it was like a major crisis in the US at that time. And police were there, psychologists were there, counselors were there. It was suddenly the youth went crazy. The way it's happening now in India. The way what they are doing now. At that time it was in the US. So Prabhupada went in that situation. So we just Sugrit, very well wisher. Okay, now let's see what happens now. This section, we're going to describe about after death. Alright? So we are in this body now. Puranjana Jeev is being pulled out of his pur, right? The jana is being pulled out of the previous pura. And he's going to enter another pura, right? City, another city. So what happens in between and how the next body is decided. This is what we're going to study in this section. I have the impression we read this. Anyway, let's read it quickly.
Translation: that most unkind king Puranjana had killed many animals in various
that we can just go on eating meat, killing animals, and it's free, you know, even then they don't stop. Right? Okay, thank you. So, yeah, they don't stop. You give them the book, Science of Self-Realization, Prabhupada speaks about all this. You give it, they read it, they faint, and then they still continue. Because they don't believe in it, they actually don't believe, they think it's just stories, you know. So it's very, very dangerous. So here, Puranjan, what's happening to him? What's happening to him? Now he's dead, right? He's moved out of that body and he's traveling to the next body. What's happening to him?
All the animals were pressing him with the horns.
Yes.
Because he had killed all the animals.
All these animals who he killed. So two reactions he's suffering now. The first one was that all those animals are piercing him. So now he's dead, but what is happening to him?
He's feeling the pain on that.
Yes, he's experiencing the pain. Each and every animal that he has killed, they're piercing him. Later in the Bhagavatam, again the same point will come up with some other thing, I can't remember which thing, also the same Karma Kandya. Yeah, so he's been pierced. Winter has started. Yeah, so here we are. So it's they are not actually like killing him, but he's feeling it. That's what we call hell. It's like in nightmare. In nightmare, everything is coming in the mind. So you don't die. So however, that's why so much suffering is going on. You don't die. That's the worst thing. You die, it's okay, but you can't die because you're already dead. But you're feeling all the misery. So, those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, are cast by into the ocean of material existence with the various demoniac species of life. Anyway, this is again a reminder that this King Puranjan or King Paribhavishat is actually a member of the family of Dhruva Maharaj. So he's suffering, meaning he's not spared, alright? According to this story, he's not spared. But he will be given also some bonus, alright? So this is the first thing. He started to feel the two sinful activities that he was committing. One was animal hunting and the other one is woman hunting. Alright? So now he gets so much attached to the woman form. So what happened to him now? Ananta paritamasi mapuno nashta smriti samaha shashvatira muyartin Ramana Sangha Dushika.
Hare Krishna translation. Due to his contaminated association with women, a living entity like King Puranjana eternally suffers all the pangs of material existence and remains in the dark region of material life. Birth of all remembrance for many years. Purpose. This is description of material existence refrain from the beginning to give up attachment for women. The first stage of life is Brahmachari, the second stage Grihastha, and the third stage Vanaprastha, and the fourth stage is Sannyasa. All these stages are devised to enable one to detach himself from this association of women.
So this is a description of material life. There's so much attachment to sense enjoyment that finally, due to this contaminated association with women, a living entity like King Puranjan eternally suffers all the pangs of material existence and remains in the dark region of material life, bereft of all remembrance for many, many years. Right? That's the world around us. So Prabhupada is saying, even to read even later, to save human society from the darkness of ignorance, this movement was started. The main purpose of the Krishna consciousness movement is to enlighten the forgetful living entity and remind him of his original Krishna consciousness. The whole. And you can switch off this fan. If we have sufficient for in text 27, chapter 28, text 27. So what is the effect of material attachment? See, it is attachment to a woman or a woman attached to a man. What is the
It
result?
prolongs our materialism.
Forgets the real identity.
Yes.
Yeah, we forget what?
The real identity as the eternal standard.
Yes. Yeah, we nashta smriti. We forget our eternal identity as servant of Krishna. That's the result. So we go on making our own plans and programs. So here, Prabhupada is saying he has started this movement with everything, all the different items, so that we can remember Krishna. The deities, the chanting, Bhagavatam, the devotees, Prashadam, yes, temples. This is a beautiful song. Let's sing this together. Anadi karama phale paribharana jale Taribare na dekhe uhaye E vishaya halahare dihani shiya jale Manaka ho sukha nahi paye. So, because of my past fruitive activities, now you see what past fruitive activities, Puranjan is one instance. I have now fallen into an ocean miscience. I cannot find any means to get out of this great ocean, which is indeed like an ocean of poison. You know, I think householders know this very well. Everybody knows it, but householders know it very well. The suffering that goes on from the children, from this one, from that one, and it's like an ocean of poison. We are trying to be happy through sense enjoyment, but actually that so-called enjoyment is like food that is too hot and causes burning in the heart. I feel a burning sensation constantly day and night, and thus my mind cannot find satisfaction. Anyway, Kali Yuga is so horrible that even when you give guidance, still we are not able to take.
you one question here. So why is attachment to a woman sufficient to prolong one's miserable material existence? How does it prolong?
Enjoyment.
That is why.
We already read the entire chapter after chapter, right? How Puranjana is deriving that enjoyment. Hmm? She's providing all types of sense enjoyment. So she's the source of all sense enjoyment. Hmm? So now it's his turn to become the source of enjoyment.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
That's what happened to him.
Yes.
Exploiting the other one, now it's his turn.
Exploited.
Right? Yes. It's now his turn. When he has to provide all the enjoyment. Hmm? So, sense gratification is material existence. So therefore, Prabhupada is saying that in Vedic civilization, one is trained from the beginning to give up attachment for women. Through brahmachari, then grihastha, grihamedhi, and then vanaprastha, and finally sannyas. Text 28. Tameva manasa grihnam bahuva pramadotama anantaram vidarbhasya rajasimhasya veshmani.
Translation: King Puranjana gave up his body while remembering his wife, and consequently in his next life he became a very beautiful and well-situated woman. He took his next birth as a daughter of King Vidarbha in the very house of the king. Purport: Since King Puranjana thought of his wife at the time of death, he attained the body of a woman in his next birth. This verifies the following verse in Bhagavad Gita 8.6. Yam yam vapi simran bhavam te jayati ante kevalaram tam tam evati kontena sada tad bhava bhavitaha. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail. When a living entity is accustomed to think of a particular subject, matter, or becomes absorbed in a certain type of thought, he will think of that subject at the time of death. At the time of death, one will think of the subject that has occupied his life while he was awake, likely sleeping or dreaming, or while he was deeply sleeping. After falling from the association of the Supreme Lord, the living entity thus transmigrates from one bodily form to another according to nature's course, until he finally attains the human form. If he is absorbed in material thoughts and ignorant of spiritual life, and if he does not take shelter under the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, who solves all questions of birth and death, he will become a woman in next life, especially if he thinks of his wife. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 3.31.1, Karmana Deva Netrana. A living entity acts piously and impiously, and sometimes in both ways. All actions are taken into account, and the living entity is offered a new body by his superiors. Although King Puranjana was overly attached to his wife, he nonetheless performed many pious fruitive activities. Consequently, although he took the form of a woman, he gave up a chance to be the daughter of a powerful king, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 6.41. Prapaya punya kritam lokan usitva saraswatiha samaha suchinama srimatam gehe yoga prasto vijayate. The unsuccessful yogi, after many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of a rich aristocracy. If a person falls from a path of bhakti yoga, God realization, due to attachment to fruitive activities, philosophical speculations, or mystic yoga, he is given a chance to take birth in a high and rich family. The higher authorities appointed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead thus render justice to the living entity according to the living entity's desires. Although King Puranjana was overly absorbed in thoughts of his wife and thus became a woman, he took birth in the family of a king due to his previous pious activities. The conclusion is that our activities are taken into consideration before we are awarded another body. Narada Muni therefore advised Vyasadeva that one should take to Krishna consciousness, devotional service, and abandon all ordinary occupational duties. This advice was also given by Lord Krishna himself. Although a devotee may fall from the path of spiritual consciousness, he will nonetheless attain a human body in the home of a devotee or a rich man. In this way, one can resume his devotional service.
Okay, so now, see the science of the next body, how we get the next body. So, meaning that, so Prabhupada is explaining here that at the time of death, one will think of the subject that has occupied his life while he was awake. Just see all the different states. While he was awake, lightly sleeping or dreaming, or while he was deeply sleeping. Meaning that he is so much harassed and absorbed by a particular thought that this is the only thing that we're thinking of. So at the time of death, we get that type of consciousness. So the living entity does transmigrate from one bodily form to another according to nature's course. According to nature's course. And this interesting here. So King Puranjan gave up his body while remembering his wife, and consequently in his next life he became a very beautiful and well-situated woman. And where did he take his birth? What Prabhupada is writing here? I don't know whether I read it right. Where did he take his birth?
His daughter of King Vidar.
King as the daughter of King Vidar.
In the house of the king.
Powerful king.
Where?
In the house of the king.
In the
Vidar.
house.
In the house of the
Let's
king.
read again. Is it
Next.
right? Is it that
He took his house.
Yeah.
He took his next birth as the daughter of King Vidarbha in the very house of
In the very house. You saw what happened? In his own house. You understand your family now? It's horrible, isn't it? Sometimes we think that the soul is just lost, the person is left you but is gone, but no, the person hasn't gone. This is what Bhagavatam is saying. He took his next birth as the daughter of King Vidarbha in the very house of the king.
And in his own lineage.
Yeah, in his own house. Meaning, like extended family, right? So that's where his attachment was, so he took birth again in the same house. This is horrible. So that's why, we should be promoted. Like if we are doing something, we should be promoted. But here, because of that attachment, they again took birth in the same house. So now Prabhupada is again explaining how everything is taken into consideration. So although King Puranjan was overly absorbed in thoughts of his wife and thus became a woman, he took birth in the family of a king due to his previous pious activities. So it's like the accounts is done, make all the coordinates meet, right? Which house? It's fixed as pure horoscope, right? My God, it's literally a play. I don't know who does all this. When you're making some plan, who will go where, right? The management to do all this.
Young secretary Chitrakoot does the balance sheet of everyone.
Yeah, but then placing, he doesn't just take the person and send to another, universe. Here we're finding in the same house.
So this is basically HR activity. After looking at the talent and the qualification, then you decide which department and in which position.
Yeah, correct. Huh? And usually, I mean, it's family business, so you place the person in your own family, right? So here, fortunately, here is the laws of nature, so they decide properly. Hmm? So, the conclusion is that all our activities are taken into consideration before we are awarded another body. I mean, this is very, I mean, now you know, in your own family, somebody is dying, you know, so you should know that the person actually is around. I even heard that, I think in third canto we read that you take birth yourself in your own house. We read that also. You are your previous ancestor. The previous ancestor, you're born in that same, you know, you're the great-grandfather, great-grandmother. Okay, let's do text 29.
Translation. It was fixed that Vedalpi, daughter of King Vidarbha, was to be married to a very powerful man, Malayadhwaja, an inhabitant of the Pandu country. After conquering other princes, he married the daughter of King Vidarbha.
So according to you, who fixed that marriage? It was fixed that way there be. So according to you, who fixed that?
According to his karma,
Yeah.
the demigods.
Yeah. Again, see how marriage is being fixed. Right? Everything. We are thinking we are fixing the marriage, but actually it's the destiny of the person that is fixing.
Luckily, sometimes people get divorced, they get married again, divorced again, married. So that is also fixed according to
I
the
don't
karma.
think so.
What-
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Only one chance.
But it's not so
Ignition.
Same karma or
Sorry?
Is it that karma only true karma?
Yeah, it's a very complicated thing. Let's just read this. So it was fixed, right? Yeah, I mean this is happening, but you know sometimes that like person from the other birth also come back. You know, like that's why you know like they check when they do the horoscope. They check whether I just read that in that book, Samskar book. You know whether it is you were enemies with your husband in previous life. All this is checked. So it was fixed. Yeah, then we create a new karma, but maybe you know there was already some connection from the previous life, and again, you know, something happens. It is very complicated.
It is customary among Kshatriyas for a princess to be offered under certain conditions. For instance, Draupadi was offered in marriage to one who could pierce a fish with an arrow simply by seeing the reflection of that fish. Krishna married one of his queens after conquering 7 strong bulls. The Vedic system is for a daughter of a king to be offered under certain conditions. Vedalpi, the daughter of Vidarbha, was offered to a great devotee and powerful king. Since King Malayadhwaja was both a powerful king and a great devotee, he fulfilled all the requirements. The name Malayadhwaja signifies a great devotee who stands as firm as Malayadil and through his propaganda makes other devotees similarly as firm. Such a Mahabhagavat can prevail over the opinions of all others. A strong devotee makes propaganda against all other spiritual conceptions, namely dhyana, karma and yoga. With his devotional flag unfurled, he always stands fast to conquer other conceptions of transcendental realization. Whenever there is an argument between a devotee and a non
non-devotee, the pure, strong devotee comes out victorious. The word Pandya comes from the word Panda, meaning knowledge. Unless one is highly learned, he cannot conquer non-devotional conceptions. The word Para means transcendental and Pura means city. The Pura is Vaikuntha, the kingdom of God, and the word Jaya refers to one who can conquer. This means that a pure devotee who is strong in devotional service and who has conquered all non-devotional conceptions can also conquer the kingdom of God. In other words, one can conquer the kingdom of God Vaikuntha only by entering devotional service. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is called Ajita, meaning that no one can conquer him, but a devotee by strong devotional service and sincere attachment to the Supreme Personality of Godhead can easily conquer him. Lord Krishna is fear personified for everyone, but he voluntarily agreed to fear the stick of Mother Yashoda. Krishna, God, cannot be conquered by anyone but his devotee. Such a devotee kindly married the daughter of King Vidarbha.
Yeah, such a devotee kindly, huh? This is what Prabhupada wrote here. Can you switch it off and then put it again? Huh? Yeah, such a devotee kindly married, meaning this is, who is that devotee?
Malaya
And what's the meaning of Malaya Dwaj?
One stands for
What's
Hill
that?
of Malaya.
Who stands as for
Malaya Hill.
Yes, and what does he do?
Other devotees firm as him.
Yes.
Stand firm as him.
Yes. Huh? So this is the Mahabhagavat. He's able to make other devotees also stand firm. So this is a Mahabhagavat. And such a Mahabhagavat can prevail over the opinions of all others. Everybody's got their opinion how it's supposed to be done. But because he's completely in the Vedic line, he knows the Shastra and he's practicing himself, he's able to make his points strong. So therefore he is able to prevail over the opinions of all others. With his devotional flag unfurled, so Dwaja, right? Malaya Dwaj, right? He's got a flag. So with his devotional flag unfurled, he always stands fast to conquer other conceptions of transcendental realization. And do we see that?
Yes.
So this is the person to whom this Puranjan got married. Vaidharvi. Alright? So this is Brahmananda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jeev. Guru Krishna Kai Bhakti Lata Bij. Right? So anyway, this is what he got. Pandya means knowledge. Unless one is highly learned, he can conquer non-devotional conceptions. Anyway, reading this, what comes to my mind is that, being in the male body, he was just going around conquering, right? That's what he was doing. Going around conquering, now finally he had to become submissive. Right? That's what has happened to him now. So stop, so now somebody else is, stronger than him. This is a mercy. Right? This is a mercy because being in that male body, so much ahankar, so much moving around, conquering, enjoying. So he got like a lower grade body, but he's submissive now. He's dependent. And Krishna has arranged destiny, Krishna, the laws of nature, has arranged for him to come in contact with a Mahabhagavat. Yeah. What are you thinking? Your mouth just opened.
So I was just thinking that that was destined because he was coming from Dhruv Maharaj.
We are all coming from Krishna, right? We are all part and parcel of Krishna, right?
No, but he committed so many sins in his past life, but this was.
But he did. But
Some
he
pious
did also
activities.
a lot of pious activity. You just read this, no?
Yes.
Due to his previous pious activities, meaning that when he's doing all those karma kandya. He's giving in charity, he's receiving the brahmanas, he's taking care of his praja, right? He's enjoying, but at the same time he's doing many good things. So all that is accumulating. So now he okay, somebody is more powerful than him, right? So he got a husband. Yeah. Who's a devotee, so he's like more submissive. Now he's in the service mood. So Pura, unless one is highly learned, he cannot conquer non-devotional conceptions. So Para Pura city. Para Pura is Vaikuntha. Parapura, Vaikuntha. In other words, one can conquer the kingdom of God, Vaikuntha, only by rendering devotional service. Anyway, so if by good fortune, this woman has a devotee husband or has a spiritual master, and being submissive to the spiritual master, then it can cross over. So meaning that the body, see, the main thing, the body may be weaker, maybe inferior in some ways, alright? But the soul is not inferior, alright? The soul is always superior because the soul is part and parcel of Krishna. So therefore, if the jeev is following all the instruction of the spiritual master, then the soul will get liberated and go to Parapura, Vaikuntha. That's what it is. And now this particular jeev got a huge advantage of birth in a king's family, plus a devotee husband. Text 30, or getting a spiritual master. That will come. Text 30. Tasyam sajanayam chakra atmajam ashitekshanam yaviyasa sapta sutta sapta dravyamubritaha.
Translation. King Malayadwaja fathered one daughter who had very black eyes. He also had 7 sons who later became the rulers of that tract of land known as Dravida. Thus, there were 7 kings in that land.
Now we have to read this very, very carefully. Listen and read very carefully.
Okay.
This is an allegory. Remember the whole section is an allegory. So what is that allegory? So we've already spoken about Malaya Dwaj. Alright, meaning someone who is able to conquer all types of spiritual philosophies and spread bhakti. So now this Mahabhagavad is he fathered one daughter. So there are going to be few verses about this one daughter. So you need to know what is that one daughter. See, Narad Muni is not doing time pass here, alright? He wants to teach a lesson, whether man or woman, he's teaching some lesson. So we have to learn this. I hope everybody has pen, paper and pencil or whatever, alright? So you see, unless you have pen and paper, you can't study this particular text.
Perfect. King Malayadwaja was a great devotee, and after he married the daughter of King Vidarbha, he gave her one nice daughter whose eyes were black. Figuratively, this means that the daughter of King Malayadwaja was also bestowed with devotion service, for her eyes were always fixed on Krishna. A devotee has no vision in his life other than Krishna.
Okay, so now, due to combination of Puranjana with Vidarbhi, Vidarbhi and Malayadwaja.
Malayadwaja.
Alright, so Vidarbhi means that Jana, Puranjana, who is now submissive to Guru. Alright? So when that combination has happened, what is the outcome?
Another devotee.
Bhakti.
Bhakti. Alright? Bhakti. And what is the definition of bhakti according to this statement here?
Eyes are always fixed on.
Yes. Eyes always fixed on Krishna. Meaning he has no vision in his life other than Krishna. Right? Continue.
A devotee has no vision in his life other than Krishna. The 7 sons are the 7 processes of devotion service: hearing, chanting, remembering, offering worship, offering prayers, rendering transcendental loving service, and serving the lotus feet of the Lord. Of the 9 types of devotional service, only 7 were immediately given. The balance, friendship and surrendering, everything were to be developed later. In other words, devotional service is divided into 2 categories, namely Vidhi Marga and Raga Marga. The process of becoming friends with the Lord and sacrificing everything for Him belongs to the category of Raga Marga, the stage of developed devotional service. For the neophyte, the important processes are those of hearing and chanting, Shravana and Kirtana, remembering Krishna, worshipping the deity in the temple, offering prayers, and always engaging in the service of the Lord, and worshipping the lotus feet of the Lord.
Okay, so now, so the devotee has no vision in his life other than Krishna. Then, so here in the verse, so King Maladwaja fathered 1 daughter, meaning this is Bhakti, alright, who had very black eyes. Then he also, alright, this is how it's mentioned, he also had 7 sons. So thus there were 7 kings in that land. So now, so meaning that when the attention is fixed on Krishna, so what is required?
A person
performs 7 processes
of devotional service.
What is required? A process, alright? So we fix our eyes on Krishna, but we want to know how to attain him, right? So then came those 7 processes, Shravanam, Kirtanam, etc. So these are part of which mark? Vidhi mark. And it's meant for who?
Neophytes.
The neophytes. Alright? And then 2 are left. Which ones? Okay, so what does that mean? Let's read now.
The word Yaviyasya Yasaha indicates that these processes are very powerful. After a devotee engages in the process of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Darshanam, and is able to secure these processes, he can later become a devotee capable of rendering spontaneous devotional service, namely Sakyam and Atmaniveda. Generally, the great acharyas who preach devotional service all over the world belong to the category of Sakyam Atmanivedana. A neophyte devotee cannot actually become a preacher. The neophyte is advised to execute devotional service in the 7 other fields, Shravanam, Kirtanam, etc. If one can successfully execute the preliminary 7 items, he can in the future be situated on the platform of Sakyam Atmanivedana. The specific mention of Dramina Desha refers to the 5 Dramina Deshas in South India. All are very strong in rendering the preliminary devotional process, which is Shravanam and Kirtanam. Some great acharyas like Ramanuja Acharya and Madhavacharya also came from the Dramina Desha and became great preachers. They were all situated on the platform of Sakyam Atmanivedana.
So what is this Sakyam and Atmanivedana?
They fall in the Raga Bhakti, Raganuga Bhakti, and the great preachers, the great acharyas who preach, they fall in that category. Sakyam and Agam.
Is that what we are saying, that they follow the path of Raga Marg?
Previously it was mentioned,
Is it?
namely Vidhiman and
No, because first you need to do the first 5 processes and gradually seven. And
Seven.
yeah, gradually as you develop as your bhakti gets stronger, the spontaneity comes, and then you get yourself to the Sakya and Atmanivedanam.
What is that? Sakyam and Atmanivedanam.
Sakyam is friend.
Friend and
Surrendering.
Atmanivedanam is surrender, full surrender.
Surrender, no?
Yeah, but what's that?
That's
Mother, in the previous
that's Raganubhava.
In the previous paragraph, it is mentioned that the process of becoming friends with the Lord and sacrificing everything for Him belongs to the category of Ragamani.
Yes, so what's that here? What Prabhupada is explaining?
Spontaneous.
First we follow Vedima and then we
I mean, I can't believe you're missing it. How does the devotee practice this Sakyam and Atmanivedanam?
By hearing his chanting.
By executing the Vedima properly.
Okay, I'll give you 5 minutes. You read it all over again.
Mataji, what's the question?
What is this Sakyam and Atmanivedanam?
Sorry?
What's the Sakyam Atmanivedanam?
Preaching.
Yeah.
Preaching.
Yes.
Spontaneous.
Preaching
To become a preacher.
to become a preacher.
Before 5 minutes I was like,
Alright? So Prabhupada is saying neophytes, they can't preach. So for them it is only Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Vandanam, etc. They're just practicing to purify themselves. And when they become more advanced, right, then they are able to preach. And they have taken the position of Sakyam and Atmanivedanam, meaning they completely surrender to Krishna and they become a friend of Krishna. What is this friend of Krishna? Krishna Sakha, we read before, right? Meaning they're enlightening others. And Prabhupada is giving the example of who?
Sri Ramadevacharya.
Fulfilling Lord Krishna's desires.
Yes. This is the rag. This is the rag here that Prabhupada is referring to. See, there are different definitions of this rag, but here, this is what Prabhupada is saying. So in the beginning, it's only about myself, how to improve myself. Everything is a mean, right? So we are following, which is good. So Prabhupada is saying that this is neophyte. So Yashaha. So Prabhupada is saying that this process is so powerful, this Bhakti Yoga is so powerful that when we do it, gradually we become capable of rendering spontaneous devotional service. That's the rag. And what it is becoming a preacher. We got it? Alright. So please, we should read with all our eyes. Huh? Each and every word Prabhupada is explaining here. And who has done Bhakti Shastri here? Who has studied nectar devotion? Nectar devotion, alright? You know why I spotted this out? Because I teach this in nectar devotion and Prabhupada has written it here. When he defines, there's different angas of devotional service. And when it comes to Sakyam and Atmanivedanam, he says the devotee is a preacher. So here Prabhupada has written it here. So we should be able to correlate. Alright, so okay, we should continue this. Text 31. Ekakasya bhavatesham rajanarbuddham arbuddham Mokshate yadvam shradhare mahimanvantaram param.
Translation by Joy Krishna Puripan. My dear King Prachin Bharat, the son of Malai Puja, gave birth to many thousands and thousands of sons, and all of these have been protecting the entire world up to the end of one Manu's lifespan and even afterward.
Okay, again this purport is long and very important. So I would like you, this is very, very practical. So I would like you to listen carefully and then we'll ask some questions.
Purport: there are 14 Manus in one day of Brahma. A Manvantara, the lifespan of one Manu is given as 71 multiplied by 43 lakh 20,000 years. After one such Manu passes on, another Manu begins his lifespan. In this way, life cycle of the universe is going on. As one Manu follows another, the cult of Krishna consciousness is being imparted as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 4.1. Imam Shri Bhagavan Vaja, Imam Purashvate Yogam, Proktavan Aham Avyayam, Vivashvan and Manu Vivashvate. The blessed Lord said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivashvan, and Vivashvan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and the Manu in turn instructed to Ikshvaku. Vivashvan, the sun god, imparted Bhagavad Gita to one Manu, and this Manu imparted to his son, who imparted to yet another Manu. In this way, the propagation of Krishna consciousness is never stopped. No one should think that this Krishna conscious movement is a new movement, as confirmed by Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. It is very, very old movement, for it has been passing down from one Manu to another. Among Vaishnavas, there may be some difference of opinion due to everyone's personal identity, but despite all personal differences, the cult of Krishna consciousness must go on. We can see that under the instruction of Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj began preaching the Krishna conscious movement in an organized way within the past 100 years. The disciples of Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj are all God brothers, and although there are some differences of opinion, and although we are not acting conjointly, every one of us is spreading this Krishna conscious movement according to his own capacity and producing many disciples to spread all over the world. As far as we are concerned, we have already started the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and many thousands of Europeans and Americans have joined this movement. Indeed, it is spreading like wildfire. The cult of Krishna consciousness based on the 9 principles of devotional service: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedam, will never be stopped. It will go on without distinction of caste, cricket, color or country. No one can check it. The word Bhokshayatya is very important in this verse. Just as a king gives protection to his citizens, these devotees following the principles of devotional service will give protection to all the people of the world. The people of the world are very much harassed by so-called religious principles, swamis, yogis, karmis and jnanis. But none of these can show the right way to become elevated to the spiritual platform. There are primarily 4 parties spreading devotional service all over the universe. These are Ramanuja Sampradaya, the Madhav Sampradaya, the Vishnu Swami Sampradaya, and the Nivarka Sampradaya. The Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya in the particular comes from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All these devotees are spreading this Krishna consciousness movement very widely and giving protection to innocent people who are being so much embarrassed by pseudo-avatars, swamis, yogis and others.
Yeah, so what did we learn here? This is very personal, right? This purport is very personal. So what did we learn here, Mirabai?
This movement will keep on going on, it will never stop.
And how?
Spreading from Krishna gave it to Vivashvan, Vivashvan gave it to Manu, and Manu passes to another Manu.
Yes.
So this movement is like Manu, it's not stopping anywhere. And though there may be differences between Vaishnavas, but still the movement will
Yeah, something very practical here, which I think that now that ISKCON itself is so huge, Prabhupada is referring to his Guru Maharaj Gaudiya Math, but here you could take it in our ISKCON context, right? So many gurus, so many preachers, and we may have, here Prabhupada is saying, there may be some difference of opinion due to everyone's personal identity, but still everybody is preaching, right? Even we are preachers here. Everybody have their own style of doing things, right? And Prabhupada is saying it will go on. I mean, you just come and meet anybody, say, yes, I'm running this children's program, I'm running this girls program, this youth program, right? And everybody is doing and must do. So that's what the verse is saying here. Thousands gave birth to many thousands and thousands of sons. But lucky one daughter. Right, the main one is feminine. Bhakti. Black eyes. And all of these have been protecting, alright, protecting, Prabhupada is saying, protecting the entire world. Meaning that if we don't preach, the world will remain unprotected. Right? The world will remain unprotected. So see, this one great Mahabhagavat, his disciples, it's not that the disciple can protect, it is the Mahabhagavat who is protecting. Okay, that's anyway, we can stop here, otherwise we'll get into... okay, let's read this last one, alright? 32. Agastya pragduhitaram upayeme dritavratam yasyam didrajatu jata idmama vahamatam jamo munihi.
Translation. The great sage named Agastya married the firstborn daughter of Malayadwaja, the avowed devotee of Lord Krishna. From her one son was born, whose name was Dhritarashtra, and from him another son was born, whose name was Idmavaha. The name Agastya Muni is very significant. Agastya Muni represents the mind. The word Agastya indicates that the senses do not act independently, and the word Muni means mind. The mind is the center of all senses, and thus the senses cannot work independent of the mind. When the mind takes to the cult of bhakti, it engages in devotional service. The cult of bhakti, Bhakti Lata, is the first daughter of Malayadwaja, and as previously described, her eyes are always upon Krishna. Ashite Shanam. Ashite Shanam. One cannot render bhakti to any demigod. Bhakti can be rendered only to Vishnu. Shravanam Krishna Kirtanam Vishnu. Thinking the absolute truth to be without form, the Mayavadis say that the word bhakti can apply to any form of worship. If this were the case, a devotee could imagine any demigod or any godly form and worship it. This, however, is not the real fact. The real fact is that bhakti can be applied only to Lord Vishnu and his expansions. Therefore, Bhakti Lata is Dhridavata, the great vow. For when the mind is completely engaged in devotional service, the mind does not fall down. If one tries to advance by other means, by Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga, one will fall down. But if one is fixed in Bhakti, he never falls down. Thus, from Bhakti Lata, the son Dhritarashtra is born, and from Dhritarashtra, the next son Idmavaha is born. The word Idmavaha refers to one who carries wood for burning in sacrifice when approaching a spiritual master. The point is that Bhakti Lata, the cult of devotion, fixes one in his spiritual position. One so fixed never comes down, and he begets children who are strict follower of the Shastric injunctions. As said in the Vedas, Tad Vijnanartham Sa Gurum Iva Vigachet Samit Panihi Shrotiyam Brahmanishtam. In the line of devotional service, those who are initiated are strict followers of the Vedic scriptural injunctions.
God, what an analogy, right? This figurative understanding here. So, Agastya Muni. So, the great sage named Agastya married the firstborn daughter of Malaya Dwaj, the avowed devotee of Lord Krishna. So, from her, one son was born, whose name was Dridachyuta. And from him, another son was born, whose name was Idmavaha. Now, what all this means, okay? Agastya. So, Agastya means the senses, and Muni means the mind, meaning that the senses cannot act without the mind. So, so meaning that the senses are not independent, everything is controlled by the mind. So, meaning that, again, this is all nectar of devotion. The whole thing is nectar of devotion. So, when the mind takes to devotional service, the senses get controlled. And when the senses are engaged in devotional service, the mind gets fixed. All right? So, when the mind becomes fixed, so this is why bhakti has a capacity to fix the mind, and this is called Dridha Vrata. If we do other processes, we go up and down, up and down. So, but of course, Bhakti Lata is Dridha Vrata, the great vow for when the mind is completely engaged in devotional service, the mind doesn't fall down. So, if we find we are going up and down, it means that we are not actually practicing devotional service. We are touching it and going. We are not serious. Remember, what is the definition of Bhakti Uttama? Yes, tell me. What does that mean?
No other desire than serving Krishna. Zero devoid of any sense gratification.
Jnana karma adhyana, not even jnana karma.
Anukulani Krishna, which is favorable for pleasing Krishna.
Should not be covered by jnana.
Karma or any other desire like mystic perfection or liberation.
Yes, so this is one part of it. Then what is the main?
Anukulani Krishna means favorable for pleasing Krishna.
Yes, and?
Cultivating. Shrilinam Bhakti Uttama. Cultivating that devotion.
Yes, yeah. Constantly. Alright, bhakti, anushilana means it is constantly practiced, not touch and go, touch and go. So if there is 7 processes of devotional service that have been described, okay? So if we are doing this consistently, constantly, we should come to the platform of bhakti. Alright, we must come to the platform of bhakti. Then here, what Prabhupada is describing, that we don't fall down. Dridha, which name is it? What's the meaning of Dridha? Firm. And? Chuta? Achyuta. Yes. So we don't fall down. We don't fall down. Dridha Chuta. Then from this Bhakti Lata, the son, then what was next? Oh, where is it? Oh, where is he? Yeah. Then from Dridha Chuta, the next son, Idmavaha is born. Now, what is this Idmavaha? What is that? Yes, so what's that? It's an analogy here, it's a figurative way, so what's that?
Fixes one in the spiritual devotion.
Sorry?
He fixes one in the spiritual devotion, the cult of devotion. And he gets children or strict followers of his heart.
Yeah, so meaning that this Bhakti Lata is producing Dhridavrata, alright? So then what's the sun that's born? What's that?
So his material activities are burnt. As it does
Read, it's just there.
Idmavaha refers to one who carries wood for burning. What was the question?
I'm asking what is this, who's born from Dhridachuta? Idmavaha, what's that?
Sacrificing your material senses for divine life.
No, read.
When approaching us, what is that? Initiation.
I don't know whether this is mysterious or what.
So is it from Bhakti comes red argon?
No, read. Yeah, what's that? Is an analogy, right? This is Dhridachuta. Then from there, what will happen? They become. What's that, Shiran?
Preaching, spreading Krishna.
No. This is us, right? When we become Dhridavrata, we become strict followers of Shastric injunctions, meaning that we sit with the Guru, we learn everything, and we strictly follow the instructions. So we are in the Vedic line, right? In the line of devotional service, those who are initiated, all right? So, meaning that you have taken the Diksha, this is the Idmavaha, meaning that he is strictly following his Guru. All right?
I said this, but you never said yes.
Sorry?
But you said carrying wood for burning in the sacrifice when approaching the spirit. I said that basically means when you are sitting for initiation with the Guru.
Oh, did you? Oh, I didn't hear. Okay, I didn't hear it. So, meaning that we approach the Guru. Now, what is the outcome of approaching the Guru?
We are in the line of disciplic succession.
No, this is not what means.
We become strict followers.
Yeah. Yes. Meaning all of us, we're not going to deviate from the Vedic Shastra, right? You follow, see, Guru is teaching you something, and you will find the next section we speak about that. You know, when Guru will retire, or you're going to always be with Guru. The next verse speak about that. Guru will retire. But he has given birth to so many disciples, etc., right? So what happens to you? So here, in this particular, say that the point is that Bhakti Lata, the cult of devotion, fixes one in his spiritual position, all right? You're fixed there. One so fixed never comes down, all right? And he begets children. This is all analogy, all right? So meaning the outcome of his fixedness in devotional service is that he becomes a strict follower of Shastric injunction. Meaning he's not going to break the regulatory principles. He's not going to deviate from anything that he's reading from Shastra. So this is possible only when we become fixed in devotional service. Very, very intricate, this whole analogy here. I mean, just 2 words, Dhridachuta and what's that? Idmavaha.
What does Idmavaha mean?
Yeah.
And it is written, it refers to one who carries wood for burning in a sacrifice when approaching a spiritual master, means Diksha.
Yes.
This means Diksha.
Yes. So what's the outcome? See, Prabhupada is elaborating. See, this is like Upanishadic language. It's like little philosophical. Because Tat Vijnanartham, actually this is actually Upanishad. I think it's Mundak Upanishad. Tad Vijnanartham Sagurum Eva Bhikachit. You must approach a guru. And what should you do? Samit Pani Shrotriyam Brahmanishtham. Well, again, you will come somewhere else, meaning that we sit close to him, we bring the firewood. What is that firewood? To do the fire sacrifice. In our case, Japamala, right? Guru give us the wood. He was wooden japamala. This is your yagya. Chant Hare Krishna. And you are not going to stop it. You are not going to deviate from it. Right? You don't carry firewood to Guru, right? To the yagya. In our case, Guru Maharaj says, here's your mala, chant. And we chant and we don't stop chanting. We don't deviate from that instruction. You are able to read it now? You should be able to explain this. Even in your Bhakti Vriksha program, when I was reading this, I thought, wow, this good passage. Even with small groups, isn't it? You can take passage by passage, just explain, point by point. That's why I'm making you read, discover the points, discover the inner meaning. Prabhupada is explaining, but you have to read carefully. All right, it's time, but let's sing one song. That's why I'm bringing my book. Okay, just pass this around. I didn't know I'll spend 15 minutes on this, but let's sing this. So we're going to sing page 69. Hari Hari. No, God. This is false kartal. It's not same. Oh no, it's a false kartal. But anyway, let's see if any sound, what sound comes out from it. Hari Hari Bifale Janama Gunaye Hari Hari Bifale Janama Gunaye Manusha Janama Radha Krishna Nabhagiya Janiya Shuniya Bisha Golokera Premadhana Harinama Sankirtana Golokera Premadhana Harinama Sankirtana Ratina Janmilo Kene Samsara Dishanale Divani Shihiya Jale जुराते न कोई ब्रजेंद्र नंदना जे सखी सुत होइल से ब्रजेंद्र नंदना Balaram hoiloni sai. Dinahina jata chilo hariname udharilo. Dinahina jata chilo hariname udharilo. Tara shakshi jagai ma Aha Prabhu Nanda Sutta Vrishabhanu Sutta Yuta. Karuna karo ebaro. Aha Prabhu Nanda Sutta Vrishabhanu Sutta Yuta. Aha Prabhu Nanda Sutta Vrishabhanu Sutta Yuta. Karuna karo hoye baro. Narottama dasa kohe natheli ho rang paye. तुम बिन क्या थे हमारा. तुम बिन क्या थे हमारा. हरि हरि विफल जन्म गुनाए. This is the story of King Puranjan becoming a devotee. All right. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. Yeah, prasad is prasad. Don't go.